Now get ready for the iCar. According to Reuters, Apple is moving ahead with its self-driving car technology and targeting 2024 as the year it produces a passenger vehicle. The report sent the stock higher in extended hours trading. You see the stock actually indicated up about 3% right now. Joining us now is Danny Fortson, West Coast correspondent for the Sunday Times, to talk about this reported effort. Danny, give me a read on this. I mean, the logic, big picture for Apple having some role in a vehicle, whether it be an operating system, the software, you know, the driving time people have is one where they're not always reachable by an Apple device. But what do you see them doing right now? Are they actually going to produce a passenger vehicle, and what would be the strategy there?
Well, so I think the first thing to think about is you'd have to go and look at the history here. So if you go back to the 1960s, when Hyundai first came on the scene, since then, there's only been one other company that has become a mass market car maker, and that is Tesla. And the reason is because this is really hard. And so there are dozens and dozens of companies that have been left on the scrap heap of history because, you know, it's just really hard to create a car company from scratch. And it took Tesla 17 years to get good at doing this. That being said, if there's any company in the world who can finance a car company on the side, it is Apple. Now, what that car company looks like, it's still, you know, they're still under wraps. But I think from the reports, it looks like they're talking about a consumer, you know, a consumer car like a Tesla. And so that is a very, very heavy lift.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But I guess the only reason it would be more logical or more likely right now would be if Tesla is in fact correct, and the people who are fans of Tesla is correct, in the sense that it really is much more of a technology product and service. I mean, it's Tesla's software, you know, the data that they're gathering, given all the cars on the road, and their ability to essentially have these upgrades. That seems like the distinguishing factor for a winner in the new environment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at a Tesla, it in many ways feels like an iPhone on wheels, and so you can see the logic there. But they're gonna have to overcome several hurdles. Not least of which is cost, because one of the hurdles for electric cars generally is they're a lot more expensive up front. That being said, the technology, whether it's the battery technology, which is the biggest single cost for an electric vehicle, it costs about a third of the overall sticker price. That has come down dramatically, something like 75% in the last 15 years. So it is getting to a point, though, if you talk to people in the industry, 2021 is the year. It's the inflection point where you're going to have two dozen cars in the next 12 to 24 months that come onto the scene, electric cars at reasonable price points, many of them. So there is a moment here. There's a bit of a gold rush in the electric car industry, and Apple is obviously looking at that and thinking, well, hey, I think we can do this and make our mark here.
Yeah, and you're certainly right that, you know, Apple can afford to be aggressive in this area. Incredibly low cost of financing and huge cash flows that Apple has. However, the story has been they're orienting or trying to orient a little bit more away from hardware and be much more about the services, the ecosystem. Do you think that means that they wouldn't be a manufacturer, or are we just, you know, how can we speculate as to what the approach might be here?
Yeah, so it looks like they will want to partner with a third party to do some of the manufacturing for the reasons previously stated. And this would fit in the broader theme of what Apple has been doing. You know, if you look at their services revenue over the past 4 years, it's doubled from something like $25 billion to $50 billion a year. And that's really about turning that iPhone in your hand into a cash machine, cramming in all these services that you will subscribe to because there's only so many people on planet Earth, and they are reaching the limits of that. There's something like 950 million iPhones out there in the wild. So they're squeezing all of the juice out of that lemon. And so the car, where you have all of these technologies kind of coming together and making this possible, is in many ways the next frontier for them. So software is obviously going to be a huge part of that.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.